to the sound with Steffi. Let's dance.
Yes, the guy who literally wrote the book.
Put on your big boy pants.
Oh, Nance, if only you weren't right about everything. I'm sorry.
I'm right
Are
about
you just finishing up?
everything.
You are.
Which particular tome are you reading right now?
Well, the funny thing is, I wrote this book in 2018, came out in 2019, called The Plot to Betray America.
Yeah.
And it made the Times bestsellers list for a short period of time on the strength of my great fans. But it just wasn't the strongest of the four books that I had written in terms of sales.
Yeah.
Every literal word I wrote in this is happening right now. And I know others have come out with books that are similar. Seth Abramson and and other journalists have come out. But I just flipped this open because I wanted to take a look at some of the things that I had predicted. Now, my favorite is chapter 3, called Trump, the Dog to Be Walked, right? And it starts off with this. He may talk like an idiot and look like an idiot, but don't let that fool you. He really is an idiot. And that's Groucho Marx. The problem with this is it's about how the Russians led him around by the nose ring and started surveillance on him in 1977. And in 1988, at some point when they brought him to Moscow, it appears that they made a very long-term, strong effort to flip him into an asset. And I've been saying this for years now, that he is an asset of the Russian Federation. But this week, I'm really convinced he worked for the Russians and works for Russia right now.
Yeah. Well, this is why we fell in, well, I particularly, but most of us fell in love with you because you wrote the book, literally, The Plot to Hack America, before the 2016 election. You were the only one warning Putin is interfering in this election to install Donald Trump. And, you were obviously proven correct in record time. But I think for even of those of us that could have seen this coming, it is kind of stunning to watch this. Right, him blaming Ukraine, doing all Kremlin talking points, blaming Ukraine for the invasion of Ukraine. I mean, Zelensky said yesterday, that Trump lives in a disinformation space. The fact that the U.S. held direct talks with Russia helped Putin out of his long isolation. I mean, it is hard to believe the things coming out of Trump's mouth, isn't it? Even for us.
No. Okay, first off, it is not hard to believe what comes out of Trump's mouth. When we think that he is talking smack and talking Russian talking points, Zelensky put it quite well. He is living in the reality that he has been given. He has been given this reality that Russia is great from his first wife, who was from the Czech Republic, who lived in a communist state behind the Iron Curtain. Her father was the guy collecting all of the phone calls and letters from Donald Trump to them. When the kids came there, Ivanka Jr. and Eric came there, they were under the surveillance of the KGB and Czech intelligence. The KGB knew Donald Trump wanted to run for president in 1988 before anyone else knew, and then they invited him to Moscow and treated him like a god. And when Putin came into office and he got the 4-foot-high Donald Trump stack of information, he saw this was a man you could buy. And it's not that I shouted that out in 2016. I shouted out in 2017 with the plot to destroy democracy, 2018 with the plot to betray America, and they want to look, I'm not doing this for my health.
Yeah.
You can't get rich being an author. I'm just saying you need to understand that when he says this stuff that comes out of Russia, that's what he believes. It's the only time you will hear the truth from him.
No, he is upending the entire world order. You had an interesting take on it, too. You said, let's be honest, Trump embracing Moscow and selling out Ukraine has nothing to do with the war. Trump wants revenge against Zelensky for the impeachment phone call because he's been a Russian asset for decades. I mean, it all does come down to vengeance for him, doesn't it?
It does. And this really, look, I was waiting for that shoe to drop on the Zelensky thing over the phone call, over when he refused to create a fake investigation of Joe Biden, and when he refused when he dropped the dime on the phone call and Trump got impeached for the second time because a president of the United States was carrying out extortion with a foreign power, with the exact same missiles, by the way, which were authorized under Obama in the Congress under Trump, but the same missiles that saved Ukraine, the Javelin missiles. Trump said, you do the investigation or we pull those. Listen, this is all about revenge at this point, and he is going to facilitate Vladimir Putin. I was about to use another word that sounds like facilitate, and he's going to do whatever Moscow does. Listen, my friend Christopher Steele, the British intelligence officer I had a very, very pleasant lunch with a few years ago, hit the Steele memorandum is starting to look like the Bible. Like the pages of Nostradamus. Well, it's all coming
Trump
true.
keeps saying we're in the golden age of America, and I keep saying it's the golden shower age of America. But to Christopher Steele's point. So, I have to ask you this just because, I'm not, me, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but, I think in the light of everything that has happened, which you commented on, Elon Musk and Doge and, getting all of our data and all that, since you literally wrote the original book, The Plot to Hack America, my sister and other people that, they're smart people I respect are starting to ask questions. Is this possible, knowing Russia did hack the election in 2016, that something happened in 2024? This was what I was sent, just because I know Tristan Snell talked about all the bomb threats that were traced back to Russia. People are talking about what he said about Pennsylvania, and Elon knows the vote counting machines, and so we won, and yada yada. So they were saying while the voting machines aren't connected to the internet per se, it only takes 10 minutes to pop in a USB and get out. It just so happens there was a bomb threat in Pennsylvania where they emptied the building. It wasn't just one building, it was 67. Of the 67 locations, 56 were in 11 counties that voted for Biden in the 2020 election, including the 8 most populated. I mean, obviously you're kind of the expert. What do you make of any of this? I mean, do I put it past Putin and Elon Musk because they had so much at stake? No, but I don't, go ahead.
I've shied away from this, but I'm going to tell you another bit of Nostradamus here. If one of you feels industrious, go to my YouTube page and go back through my MSNBC hits where we talk about election and election security. I have said at least 5 times in major interviews on MSNBC when I was there as the terrorism and intelligence analyst that it's very hard to hack individual voting machines and voting tabulations. The place that you hack them is at the state tabulation, the final tally. In the old days, and I've said this on your show, in the old days, we used to do this on chalkboards in front of the country as they would call in their vote. Whereas now, every system is disparate. It's hard to do from a paper machine to this. But where they are all put onto a computer is at the final tally at the state level. Is it possible? It is absolutely possible, because it's the only place that computers are all come into one spot. I don't know myself. I don't understand. Maybe people have seen some disparities. That would require a government that is honest and legitimate to find out and look at those things, or evidence like one of these, Doge babies to come out and drop the dime and bring the software, but don't forget, it was Trump who said before the end of the election, if this doesn't or if it doesn't happen, me and Elon are going to jail. That was a very noteworthy comment that I thought was quite funny. Same thing with his kid out there spouting off what he heard daddy say, but this is a dangerous place to go. We don't like conspiracy theory, but at this point, the way this administration is wrecking ball, sledgehammering, destroying all the government evidence and agencies. Who knows if
getting rid of
conspiracy theory is now the truth?
Well, and getting rid of election interference experts, they're smash and grabbing everything. So, of course, what people's question is, are we going to have free and fair midterms? I mean, I guess the problem with 2024 is it's too late now, right, to do audits of battleground states or whatever. I mean, obviously, had Biden or Harris
Hey,
or Jamie Harris, anybody said we needed to do that. What do we do now? I
no.
guess is my
No,
question.
well, because we're being nice, because Democrats, liberals, never Trumpers, with few exemptions, all believe, trust in, and accept the state, accept the way that things are in America. These people are vandals. They were here to pillage and destroy the government, and they've done it. And remember, they said in the first 180 days, I believe it was Vaught or Homan said in the first 180 days, it's going to be shock and awe every day. They're going to carry out
Yeah.
every aspect of Project 2025. We're beyond introspection at this point.
Yeah.
We are in activist mode. And if you don't get into activist mode and lecture, preach, and carry every person who did not come to that election and tell you America is under attack, it's being destroyed, then what you're doing is you're giving up.
Yeah.
I'm not, somebody, by the way, I talked to a consultant recently and he was like, oh, if you were going to do a campaign, I would focus on these Republicans in 2026. I said, screw 2026. We're going to war now.
Yeah.
We're going to war directly, and we're going to get hit everywhere in red and purple America. Don't come back with the way Democrats were from the beginning of time. This
Yeah.
is a new America. You need to be
Well,
the fightingest, monkey wrenchingest guy out there.
you said it. Warning. We are in a national security emergency.
Good
And,
God.
I love how you said it, MAGA 101. When they give a band of drunk monkeys flamethrowers and machine guns, don't be surprised if the house is burning and your kids are shot. This is arson by snotty, self-serving morons. I mean, it is by design, this chaos. And, we fired the nuke inspectors. Oops. We don't know how to get them back. Oh, the people, working on bird flu, we fired them by accident. I mean, it's just, like you say, every day it's chaos.
I heard you reference Jesse Waters talking on Fox the other day.
Yeah.
And he came out and explained, I think you talked about it, about how they do asymmetric information warfare, which are technical intelligence terms from my community, right? In which you use judo on your opponent. And he talks about Elon Musk tweets something, hundreds of millions of people see it, then Joe Rogan talks about it for 3 hours, then Fox News picks it up, and it now is in the heads of millions of people as truth. And I keep telling you every week that we're on this show, you need to flip the meta narrative.
Yeah.
They are not dismantling government. They're destroying America.
Yeah.
Period. And you need to use those words. No soft words anymore. No being polite anymore. All right? Trump is a dictator. He is not even a wannabe anymore. His statement yesterday about the Constitution, laws being decided by him and the Attorney General, George Washington would slap the living bejesus